NewGenGamers.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Console Wars of the Past. This is Ray and Ron here.
I'm Ron.
You sure you're not Iron?
I'm Iron Ron.
Iron Ron.
Ronaton. And this is Ray Rayaton. And we are looking at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Which is an awesome game for the PS1.
A defining game for the PS1.
I think I put at least a year into this game. Till the second one came out. This was the one I was playing in college. So, yeah, that was a lot of hours of Tony Hawk.
A lot of education was wasted on this game. And it's just plain fun. This was a huge hit for Activision. And they've been banking on this series for almost a decade now. It's just been prolific, and this was the first one and the one that blew everyone's mind right here in this warehouse. And it did so many cool things, and it did so many things that were only available on the PlayStation. You've got this rocking, awesome punk soundtrack with all sorts of badass music that the man does not want you to listen to. And so it really fits the Activision style as kind of a punk developer.
Okay, I was trying to do something there, but it wasn't working.
It's the first really great skateboarding game. And it really plays more like a platforming game than a skateboarding game. But it doesn't matter because you can do badass tricks like the... the McTwists and the McNuggets, the kick flips, just crazy flips. Shit you couldn't do in real life, but it's really fun.
Yeah, things that only Tony Hawk could do in real life.
This game, the goal is just rack up points. There are quests and there are items to try and get, but the real fun in it is just sit around with some friends and try and rack up points.
Yeah, they have a whole competition for it. You know, they have horse in this game, where you'll each do a different trick or try to do the same trick off the same thing.
Yeah, this is really one of the best multiplayer games on the PlayStation 1. If you had it, you had to play two-player. You know, this was just one of those games that everyone wanted to play, and so you'd have the competitions and see who could get the bigger score.
These boxes are always a pain in the ass.
And around this time was when the PlayStation really became synonymous with video games. And, you know, I think that's the point where...
you become the dominant console.
Yeah, you're the dominant console whenever people refer to your product as playing video games. You went to play PlayStation. You know, when Nintendo dominated the industry, you played Nintendo. Sony took over and you went and you played PlayStation with your friends. And it became a real cultural phenomenon with over 102 million units sold worldwide. It blew all home consoles away that existed previously, and just they came into the industry and dominated within a couple years.
Yeah, they launched it in '95, and by the time that this came out in '99, they were on top of everybody.
Yeah, unquestioned.
They had basically put Sega into hiding after the Saturn failed, and Nintendo was having a hell of a time recovering with the N64.
They embarrassed Nintendo big time. It's ironic that they studied under Nintendo and then came up and one-upped the masters.
Yeah? That's why you never take any one of your partners for granted, you know?
The apprentice became the master, and it really got ugly. They just creamed Nintendo and Sega. They did not know what was coming. And it was games like this, deals like this that they made with Activision, and were only available on the PlayStation. The Saturn wouldn't have had the power to run this game properly. It had the CD audio that really brought the ambiance to the game up that was not available on the N64.
Lay it straight to avoid bailing.
Oh yeah, good tip. And it was edgy, which also did not fit Nintendo's model.
Now, just to clear the record, though, Nintendo did get Tony Hawk. Eventually. They got it.
About a year later. They got it way too late. And everybody remembers the PlayStation version. You know, I played the N64 one because that was my console of choice at the time. And I was envious of all these awesome Tony Hawk games that were available on the PlayStation that just weren't as good on the N64. They played a lot better on the PlayStation.
Now, something I gotta ask you, since you did own the N64 version, were the audio tracks as good?
I still am not sure on that. I can't recall if... I'm thinking they did have the music, but they maybe didn't have all of them, or maybe it was super compressed. But I can't recall.
Okay, I was just wondering about that. That's something I always wondered.
If they
I almost hit it.
I can't think that they would have been able to get the whole soundtrack in, because there was so much audio in this game, and that was really what made it a cultural hit. It was identifiable music to the youth of our country. And you know, as you were saying, you played it in college. I was in high school at the time, and it really had like a cult following for a long time. The series, not so much anymore, but for that time, it was a cultural thing, and everyone played it, everyone knew it. You hung out with your buddies.
You see what I'm trying to do there, right?
What?
I'm trying to jump across over that platform there in the middle and hit a special. And then grind the rail all the way up to a round.
Alright.
That used to be my old trick. I can't seem to get it down again, though. But, yeah, the fact that you remember certain things that you did back when you played it just tells you how iconic this game was.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, you remember where you were, who you were playing with, really cultural type games. And on a system that, as far as multiplayer goes, the PlayStation couldn't compete with Nintendo's games, this was one of their really standout multiplayer titles.
Yeah, it really stepped it up for multiplayer because, face it, Nintendo had a lot of multiplayer titles, and that's how they marketed their system.
Yeah.
So PlayStation really needed to find something that would give them that environment
and fit the PlayStation culture, and this game did all of it, and put Activision way back up on the map, and helped them get to where they are now as the #1 third-party publisher.
Yeah, this game made Activision a lot of money.
Not only made Activision a lot of money, brought skateboarding into the popular culture. That's the other thing that this really did. You know, the X Games and that stuff had been going on, but people still didn't know didn't know skaters as common household names or common household people. And with this game, Tony Hawk definitely became a household name. Some of these other guys that you see that have been throughout the different series are now well known, as well as the sport gets a lot more credence now in the mainstream because of this game. Literally because of this game. It had such a huge effect for skateboarding.
ポケットステーションの発売日が1月23日になりました。楽しみにしていた皆さん、もうしばらくお待ちください。プレイステーション。